And congratulations on the purchase of your beautiful 2017 Pathfinder SV. This is an amazing vehicle that's going to do everything that you need to do and keep your family safe while doing it. I hope that you have a chance to check through all of this video. I know we covered a lot of features when we went over the delivery. This video is to help you go back through everything in case you missed anything or in case you have any additional questions. At the end of the video, my contact info will follow, so if you do have anything else that you'd like to discuss, please feel free to call, text, or email. Let's have a look at some of the features on this amazing vehicle that you've just purchased. So we're going to start here in the steering wheel. On the right hand side, we've got our cruise control. So the on-off button, if I watch the top of my driver assist display up here and turn it on, I see a dial shows up there. From there, I can simply tap down on this to set the speed once I'm up the speed that I want, and this dial up the top here will turn green to show you that your cruise is set. If you need to cancel it, simply hit the cancel button right here or tap the brake. To resume, push up on the button. If you want to add more speed to your cruise because the speed limit has gone up, simply tap up a couple of times to add speed to it, or tap down a few times to reduce the speed. On the left side of the steering wheel here, we'll start at the bottom, we've got our Bluetooth hands-free. So this top button here is the voice recognition. Through here you can set up your Bluetooth hands-free, or you can set it up over on the display. We'll go over that once we get over to the display on how to do it over there. If you do it through here, simply follow the voice prompts that come up when you hit the button here. Make sure that you're in the Bluetooth settings on your phone, and you're going to be looking for a setting called My Car on the new ones that show up. From there, just follow the prompts. Make sure you allow everything that follows after you pair it up, because it is going to give you the option to copy over your address book as well. This button down here will allow you to answer calls or hang up calls. Use the voice recognition if you want to make a call. That way you can tell it what you're looking to do. Above that, we've got our source button. So the source will change the source of your music. There are a lot of options that you can go through for the source of your music, but that button will stream through AM, FM, satellite radio, CD, Bluetooth, USB, iPod, or auxiliary. Any of the ones that are connected. A few of them won't show up initially when you're scrolling through if you don't have anything connected to it. Otherwise, it will show everything there and allow you to flip back and forth between them. You have your volume buttons for your radio right here, which will allow you to turn your volume up or down as we can hear. So the whole purpose of this is to keep everything right in front of you. You want to keep your hands on the steering wheel and keep your eyes focused forward while you're driving, which is why one of your driver assist display screens shows you what's going on with your radio as well, and we'll go back to that in a moment. The next button up here we're going to see is our enter button. If I tap up or down on that, so I'm going to tap up and we're going to watch what happens on the display. We move over to our different presets on the radio. So all kinds of different options there to go through the presets. Our final buttons here, this is a back button that we're going to use on one or two of the screens up here. This button here is for our driver assist display. So this is our driver assist display here in the center. Right now we are on what we refer to as the home screen. So if I press that top button with the box and the drop shadow underneath it, we move over to show our tire pressure monitoring screen. Once you start driving, the pressure for all four tires will show up individually on this screen. Should you have a low tire, you are going to pop up with a warning. This screen here will allow you to see exactly which tire is low and how much pressure is in it. However, the beauty of this is you don't need to know what the pressure needs to go to when you go to the garage to fill the tire. Simply go to the garage, start putting air in the tire. When it hits the proper pressure on the low limit, the horn is going to beep once. If you continue to put air in after that, when you hit the high limit, it's going to beep the horn 3 times to tell you to stop. And you really do want to stop at that point or you risk ruining your tires. Our next screen over shows whether I'm in front wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. As you pull away, if you're in auto, as we currently are right now, as you pull away, you're going to be in 4-wheel drive, but once you get going, you're going to drop down to front wheel drive. the purpose of this is to maximize your fuel economy. You want to make sure that you have the power that you need when starting out, but you want the fuel economy while you're driving. Anytime that you need the additional power, or if you hit any traction issues, you're going to flip over to four-wheel drive. And this screen shows you when you're in front wheel versus four-wheel. What's going to happen is that top line is going to go from full down to 50%, and the bottom line is going to go from empty up to 50% when you go into four-wheel drive. Our next screen over, as I mentioned, does show what's going on with our radio. So we can see everything that we want from right here, and utilizing the controls on the steering wheel for the media center control, we can fully control everything going on with the radio right from here. This gives me some information about what's going on with my vehicle. So I've got average fuel economy, driving, I've got driving time, I've got average speed. And to reset this, I'm simply going to press and hold that box with the drop shadow, and everything resets. Our next screen over shows any warnings. So if I have any warnings going on here, whether it's low wiper fluid, a door that's not fully shut, whatever the case may be, I'm going to see right here, there will be a yellow triangle with an exclamation mark that shows up, and a warning will pop up on the display here. You can simply hit the back button to get rid of the warning, but you can come back to this screen at any time to see what that warning is while you're driving, or if you've got multiple warnings, you can scroll through them here. Our final screen over here shows our settings. Typically, I only ever change one setting in here, and it's for locking. By default, Nissan automatically unlocks the doors when you turn the ignition off. However, most of my customers prefer that the vehicle automatically unlocks when you shift into park. So we're going to do that right now by going to Vehicle Settings. We're going to go down to Auto Door Unlock, and then we're going to shift into park. So from here on out, every time that I shift into park, the doors are going to unlock. It's a great feature with this. I highly encourage you to go through and check out the rest of the settings in here, and don't be afraid of messing up any of the settings or putting it to a point where you can't do anything. Factory reset will take you back to where we were just 30 seconds ago. That's everything on our driver assist display. At the very top, I can see the outside temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. As I see, we've got our cruise on. I'm going to turn that back off. We're in park. This button here, or this indicator that says auto, that's because I have my dial down here set to auto. If I change that to two-wheel drive, up the top here it shows me we're in two-wheel drive, so that's front-wheel drive. If I change it back to auto, it shows me auto. Or if I want to lock in the four-wheel drive, which will stay locked in regardless of my speed, I turn that dial to the lock and it's spring-loaded. It will show back on auto, but up on the center here we see it's locked in. Simply turn it back to put it back. There's one more thing that shows up on the screen here. On this dial here we have a hill descent assist button. So if I push that in, I see right there that it starts flashing to show me my hill descent assist is on. While that's on, that's going to help prevent me from picking up a bunch of speed coming down a large hill. This is fantastic, especially if you're in tow mode. Next up, we're going to have a look at a few of the buttons on the left side of the dash. So we're going to start down here. First up, we've got our traction control. You're in a four-wheel drive vehicle, I recommend just leaving the traction control alone. I can't see any circumstance where you're really going to need it. Right here we've got our heated steering wheel, so if I turn that on, the light lights up. This steering wheel gets toasty warm. It will stay on for about 30 minutes. After that, it is automatically going to turn off. However, your vehicle should be good and warm on the inside at that point. And down below here we have a tow mode. So if you are towing something, as this magnificent vehicle will tow 6,000 pounds, make sure you put it in tow mode if you're going to tow it. It is going to change how everything reacts to adjust for that towing. Over on the left here, we've got our mirrors. So I can set left or right and then set my mirror. I've got our locking here. This button here is the child lock for the windows, which will lock all of the windows in place. Front windows and back windows. And our front windows are auto up and as we look up here, we've got our brightness for our dash up on the left side of the dash here. So I can turn that up or down as desired. As long as the lights are on, that will affect that. Once it gets up all the way, it does beep. On the right side, we've got a trip reset. So if I look down here, right where my odometer is, I'll come in a little closer here. When I hit the trip reset button, just once, it changes over to a trip odometer A and a B. To reset that, I simply press and hold the trip reset, and it sets it back. And then one more tap will take us back to our odometer. Next up, we're going to have a look at the center display. So our center display here does look a little bit busy initially. However, we're going to zoom into the top half here. We do have a full touchscreen up here, and everything that you can do up here, you can control from the buttons down here, which is why it does look a little bit busy. However, this top button here is for the brightness of our display, so right away I see it go into nighttime mode. I'm going to put us back to auto mode right there. Auto is going to automatically flip us over to nighttime mode as desired. Our climate shows us what's going on in the front. So right away I see two separate temperatures set here. Both of them are set to the same thing. If I hit either the dual button on the touchscreen or way down here, push the dual button, so I'm going to hit it up here, my dual climate control turns on. With that on, I can see I've got 20 degrees on the driver's setting and 26.5 on the passenger setting, so that you and your passenger can have separate temperatures. Either of the dials here or here will adjust the temperature while it's in dual mode. However, the moment I turn this one off, everything resets to the driver's side, and only the driver dial down here will change the temperature. Our rear climate gives me full access to the climate control that's in the back. So if I have a look back here, I can see what's going on with the climate control. I can set it from back there, however, as a driver, it's easier to set it from up the front. So right here, I've got temperature up and down, or my dial down here will also alter that temperature. I can turn the climate control on and off from right here, or the push button down here. I can alter my fan right here, or again, using the dial down below. And then finally, if I go over one more screen, I can set that to auto. So the beauty of auto on both the rear and the front climate is when it's in auto, it's automatically going to do what it needs to get you to the right temperature for the cabin. So in this case, in the front, I'm set for auto. If it's cold out, it's automatically going to crank that fan up after the vehicle starts to warm up and start pumping out warm air. It's going to dial the fan up as high as it needs to get me up to that temperature as fast as possible, but as I get closer to it, that fan will start dialing back all on its own. In the summer, when it's hot out, that fan is going to crank up right away, and it's going to be cool air that comes out of the vents, and it's going to do everything that it can to get me down to that temperature. So the whole point is to get you where you need to be as fast as possible. You can also turn the air conditioning on right here or back off, as well as down here. So our buttons down here, we have our fan, we have our temperature. Mode will change where the airflow is going. So right now in auto, it's putting it to the floor. If I hit mode, it comes out the fans, the floor and the fans, back to the floor, and then the floor and the windshield. So there are a few options there. If you want strictly windshield, it has its own separate button right here. So I'm going to put us back on auto at the moment. So down below here, we've got the button for a rear defrost, and as I push that, I see my rear defrost is on. This also activates the heated side mirrors. That's a great feature for the winter. So if you've got any frost or any ice that's on your side mirrors, it will help defrost it all and get rid of it. In the summer or spring, it will help get rid of any dew that's on those mirrors without you ever having to touch them. Our audio screen shows me what's going on with my audio. So I've got a quick access menu on the top here to sources of music. It doesn't list them all, but it does list a good deal of them. Down below here, I've got presets. Now the beauty of my presets is right away I've got up to 36 presets that I can set. And with that, I can go through and set any one of them to be either FM or satellite radio. That way I'm not bouncing back and forth at my source, and whatever stations I like, I can just use my presets to go through those. Over on this side we've got apps, so this will give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on to here. We've got some driving performance, just to show what's going on. You can have this on while you're driving. If you simply want a clock, just push the clock button here. This will leave a clock up. You can hook it up to your email and be able to see them here, as well as a calendar. We've got maintenance notes and a quick guide. Our info screen will give us some information as far as how the vehicle is doing for fuel economy. Right now it's not going to be wonderful as I'm sitting idling. And an Eco Drive report just to show where everything's at. Finally, we've got a settings screen here. So I mentioned earlier about our Bluetooth settings. If I come into here, I can then connect a device. Super simple to connect a device, as we'll see. So there's already a few set up, or I can hit add new at the top and just follow the voice prompts. Again, make sure that you're in the Bluetooth settings on your phone before doing this, and you're going to look for a setting that says My Car that shows up in the newfound devices. We've got settings for our phone and mail, audio settings, so this will allow you to go in and start changing some of the settings. Make sure everything is all set where we want it to be. Speed sensitivity is really nice. So with this, as you're on the highway and you pick up speed, road noise is going to be a little bit higher. This will automatically adjust the volume on the radio accordingly. We've got volume adjustment, your clock. So twice a year, because of our daylight savings time here in Canada, you're going to need to adjust your clock. Right now, I'm showing that we are about a minute fast, so I'm simply going to hit that, and my clock is fixed. I can go through over here and alter the day in the calendar as well. Oh, so back in here we've got voice recognition settings. Your camera sonar will allow you to turn that on or off. By default it's on, so as you back up, if you're too close to something, it's going to beep at you. We should experience that as I put it in reverse here, and we're going to have a look at the backup camera. So right now we're not too close to warrant it, but we do see some distance lines, and as we close that distance there, this will start beeping at us and it will show where we're too close on the vehicle. Now with the distance lines here, as long as you stop before these red hash marks, you have room to open the hatch on your vehicle. However, if you need to get in close to something, like really close, or you've got a hitch that's installed, which would protrude here a little bit, this is your bumper across the bottom of your screen, so you could get in as close as your bumper. That is about everything on our display. There is a status button here. This is one of my favorite screens because it will show you what's going on with your radio as well as your climate control. Down below here we've got buttons for our presets. I can change from radio to disc. Media will go through USB, Bluetooth, or auxiliary. I can scan for radio stations, put it on random or repeat, skip tracks, or find a radio station. I can manually tune here. Our volume button is here. And as I mentioned, we have our climate controls down below. We do have our heated seats right here on both high and low. I highly recommend using these all year round. I tend to use mine during the summer on low, especially if I'm going to be in the vehicle for any more than 20 minutes at a time. The reason for that being stiffness starts to set in, and stiffness typically sets in from reduced blood circulation from sitting for a long time. Heat promotes blood circulation, so having your heated seats on low will work during the summer. You have your air conditioning or your windows to help keep you nice and cool otherwise. The Easy Flex seating system in this is super simple to use. So on our seats here in the center, if I want the extra cargo space, down on the bottom here is my cargo lever. If I pull up on this, the seat drops down to give me extra cargo space all the way back. I can simply push it back up to put it back in place. While my passengers are in place, if they want extra cup holders, pull down here, I get an armrest and some cup holders. If I need to let somebody into the back, I do have a little lever here on the side of the seat that, as simple as one finger, will lift up and slide that forward. The whole seat folds up and everything slides forward to give me quick, easy access to the back. From there, simply slide the seat back, and I can see right away there's a difference in where the seats are. There is a bar under the front of the seat that I can adjust the room for the person in the middle and make sure that the person in the back has plenty of room. Finally, we're going to have a look at the back seats to see how to fold everything down and look at the storage area. So in the back area of our Pathfinder here, we've got the seats up at the moment. We are a true 7-seater. However, if you don't have enough people to warrant the seats being up and you want the extra storage room, it's very simple. Pull the tab on this, let the headrest fall down, lift on the tab here, push forward, and the seat falls down. We can do the same thing on this side. And now we have all kinds of storage space back here. However, that's not it. In the floor here, we also have some hidden storage space. It's from here that you would access your spare tire, which is underneath the vehicle. Simply pop this out to get access to your jack and your tire iron. Your tire iron would then be used right down here to lower your spare tire down. While you have comprehensive warranty, you do have complimentary roadside assist. So if you need anything, just give them a call. They'd be more than happy and come and change your tire for you. Otherwise, you do end up with a lot of space back here. You do have a 12-volt power port back here as well. Lots of hooks for cargo nets. And there's no shortage of cup holders in this vehicle for a long trip. Couple final things to go over here. With this vehicle, you have a push-button start. As a result, you have a key fob. With the key fob comes the intelligent key system that's on this. So on the two front doors on the handle, there is a little button. As long as this key fob is within about 4 feet of the door, you can simply walk up, push the button on the door that you're at once to unlock the door that you're at. Push it a second time to unlock the entire vehicle. Once everybody's out of the vehicle and all doors are shut, push the button once again and it will lock the whole vehicle. With that said, there is a battery inside of your key fob. It will last anywhere from 2 to 4 years depending on use. When the battery starts getting low, your first indication is you're going to start the vehicle or try, and it's going to say incorrect key ID here on the driver's assist display. That's your first indication that you need to change the battery in this key fob. If you go to a point of where the key fob is dead, on the back side here you have a little switch, push that over, and when you pull down on the key, there is a key inside. That key is for the keyhole that's on the driver's side door. That will allow you into the vehicle. To change the battery in this, there's a couple recessed areas right there on either side that if you get something there and give a little twist, this will pop open. There is a lithium ion battery inside, very similar to a watch battery except a little bit larger. The number that's on that battery is the size of the battery. Simply go to your local store that sells them and they can sell you one to replace it. You can replace it yourself or pop into the dealership and for roughly the same price they'll do the same thing for you and they'll switch it for you. If you hit a point that the battery in this dies, you have the key to get in. Once you get in, put the emblem on the Nissan emblem on the key fob directly against the start button and use that to push the button in. That will still start your vehicle for you. That way you're never stuck. Once you're done and ready to turn the vehicle off, simply push the button here. Congratulations again on the purchase of this beautiful Pathfinder SV. I know it has a lot of features to it. There's a lot of different things that you can do with it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I know it's one of my favorite vehicles. If you do have any further questions or any comments or anything that you want to go over, please feel free to call, text, or email me. I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you. And if you're at the dealership, please feel free to pop by. Even if I'm not in, somebody here will help you out. I look forward to seeing you anytime that you come in for service. Please stop over and say hello, and I'll watch for you. And hopefully see you again when it's time to purchase another vehicle.